Okay, let's talk about UX unicorns. There's a myth running around in our industry. A lot of companies hear about this fabled UX stuff, and so they think, great, let's hire someone to come in and do it, which sounds great in theory, but is actually terrible in practice because no one person can handle all of the aspects and disciplines involved in excellent UX by themselves. So yes, your team needs UX know-how incorporated 100%, but there's a right way to go about it and a wrong way. The right way includes an entire team of individuals working together, all incorporating UX know-how. There are really 5 core disciplines that must be involved in any truly fully fledged product team, even without UX know-how. Now, of course, it would be great in an ideal world if everybody understood the best practices of user experience. But at a minimum, you need all 5 of these core disciplines represented. Now, you may not know, but in these core disciplines, there is a smaller group of people that are UX professionals. And what you'll notice is even if they're not UX professionals, what a group can produce far outweighs what one magical being can produce all by themselves anyway. And a lot of companies find themselves with digital products that look a lot like this one. And it's because they either don't have UX know-how incorporated into their team, they don't have a fully fledged product team with all 5 of those core disciplines represented, or they have some combination of both. But fortunately, if you have a fully fledged product team, that is also putting those UX best practices into practice. This is the kind of thing that you can produce. So obviously way easier to look at and just better in general. We don't have time to go into detail. Doesn't matter, that's okay. But what if you only have the stakeholder approval and the budget to hire a single UX professional? That's okay. You can make that work if you go about doing so in the right way and don't foist your entire project onto one person. It starts with step 1, identifying your gaps. Look at your current project team, see what disciplines that you're currently missing, and hire a UX professional that comes from one of those 5 core disciplines. So let's say your project team is really a development team. You have developers. Great. You're missing the other 4 core disciplines. So when you hire a UX professional, hire someone who's a visual designer or a content strategist. Anyway, don't hire a UX professional that's a developer. You already have that covered. Okay, step 2, prioritize your project needs. So once you know what you're totally missing, you need to look at what your upcoming projects will require, what disciplines will be most useful, hire a UX professional that comes from one of those disciplines. So let's say your team is about to create a bunch of forms. Awesome, you're developers, you can do that in your sleep. But maybe you need a UX professional who's either a content strategist or an information architect who can lay out the form in a way that people are actually going to understand it. Okay, step 3. So after you actually hire someone, which is step like 2.5, do step 3, support your new hire. This is where a lot of companies mess up because they start treating their new UX hires like UX unicorns. When you do that, they will start acting like UX unicorns, which means they will run away into the magical forest of LinkedIn. You will never hear from them again. So don't do that. And the way that you practically incorporate someone successfully into your team is by placing them correctly into your existing team structure. So that means don't strand them off by themselves as some other weird UX professional. Put them on your hands-on day-to-day project team. That's where they thrive. That's where they can exercise their core discipline and those UX best practices that we love and are so important. That sets us up for the most important step, which is step 4, share the UX know-how. So you are not going to hire a UX professional and create an entire team of other UX professionals. But what you can do is hire someone that shares enough of that best practices knowledge with everybody else on your team to get everyone and their own disciplines applying those best practices as best they know how. That will start producing results. That's what progress looks like, an entire team of people incorporating best practices. So don't forget your 4 steps. Identify your gaps, prioritize project needs, hire someone, of course, then support your new hire correctly and share that UX know-how with the rest of your team, get everyone on board. That just might be enough to get you the budget or the approval for another UX hire. And then, of course, repeat the process again. Keep expanding your team, keep doing it in the right way so that you don't create a situation where you have a UX unicorn that doesn't actually exist and can't actually do what you want them to do. Avoid this at all costs. And I'm done with 5 seconds to spare. Thank you.